What is up? What is going on, everybody? I am back with the Mariners post game recap. Before I get started talking about the Mariners 5-0 win tonight against the Oakland Athletics, do me a favor. If you're new here, if you're just lurking, you hang out, hit that sub button for me. I'm just 3 subs away from 2,300. Not that that's necessarily like a big number, but it's always nice to get to an even number. So if you guys can help me out, hit the sub button. Then please hit the like button on the video as well. That just gets the video out to more people. It's YouTube know you're enjoying the video, so other people may enjoy the video as well. What a great day for the Seattle Mariners. They got everything today could not have gone better. And boy, did they just need a day like that. I don't know what's going to happen the rest of the way. It doesn't take away that September has been a tough month for this team. But today was nice. Today was nice. The Mariners beat the A's 5-0. That's the most important thing. They do assure themselves a winning record this season. I mean, for fans that have sat through a lot of 100-loss seasons, that's good. The Texas Rangers lose after blowing a game in the 8th inning to the Red Sox. The Houston Astros blow a ninth inning lead against the Baltimore Orioles, and the Toronto Blue Jays were off today. So you gain a game on Texas, a game on Houston, and a half game on Toronto. The Mariners are currently tied with Texas for the final wild card. Texas does have the tiebreaker. They are a game back of the Blue Jays. The Mariners have the tiebreaker there. And they're just a game and a half back of Houston for the AL West lead. It's still there. Listen, I know there's been some frustrations. There's been a lot of struggles with this team in September. It has not been the most fun month. It's been tough to talk about some of these games. There's been some frustrating moments, but it's still right there for this team. Everything is in front of them. They still got a chance, despite everything, to win this division. They can still win this division. As frustrated as they have been this month, Ranger fans and Astros fans are just as equally frustrated. Now, right now, the Mariners are on the outside looking in, so for all their frustrations, they are ahead of the Mariners. But every team in this race, even Toronto fans, have got to be frustrated. These teams have kind of had a mid-off in September, but it's going to come down to those 10 games against Texas, Houston, and Texas, Houston, Texas again. It's just going to be how you perform in those final 10. If you can do something there, this team's got a really good chance to play postseason baseball, a very good chance to do it. They've got to play better than they have this month, but today was a start. They get off on the right track. They get a win in this series that, you never know what's going to happen the next 2 days, but on paper was probably your toughest matchup. This team has struggled against JP Sears. Brian Wu has kind of been off on a little bit since rejoining the rotation. So definitely, weren't sure what you're going to get out of him. The offense has just been scuffling a lot recently. So you kind of felt a little shaky about this one. Got to feel pretty good with Castillo and Kirby against this A's team. You never know. We'll worry about tomorrow when tomorrow comes. But for today, the Mariners took care of business. And it just, no matter what, it feels good to win a game. So let's get into it. And then we'll talk about the playoff race a little bit more before I get out of here. Brian Wu, 5 innings, 3 hits, 4 walks, 6 Ks. 4 walks in 5 innings is not great, especially against an Oakland A's lineup that's just not very good. I will say the A's have been a more competitive team recently. They've actually, I think they're 12 and coming into today, they are 12-13 their last 25. They are not good. Their lineup is not good. Their pitching staff is not very good. Their bullpen is not very good. They're 46-104 for a reason. That's awful. But they have been playing a little bit more competitively over the last month or so. In fact, I think in September, they have the best record in the division. Crazy enough. And JP Sears has given the Mariners fits, like I said, and everything. So I've kind of got off topic there. Let's focus on Brian Wu. But got the job done. Listen, right now, I'm not going to complain about any starter that goes 5 shutout innings and the team wins a game 5-0. So I thought Wu did a nice job. Early on, he looked like his command control wasn't great. Thought he'd settled in and ended up pitching a pretty nice ball game in front of a lot of friends and family for him too, being a Bay Area kid. So that was really good to see. Wu's had a few starts here in September, one against the Angels as well, where the team was scuffling a bit, and he went out there and got them a win. So really good to see from Brian Wu. Bullpen did its job. Saucedo, Topa, Thornton, and Campbell. None of them gave up a run. Thornton did give up a couple hits. Saucedo and Campbell each walked a batter. Not much to say. They did their job against the lineup, just not very good. The nice thing is the Mariners were able to get now back-to-back days off for their top arms. Topa did pitch today, but Brash, Spire, Munoz all get the day off today, so that's good. They had the day off yesterday. I would have rather had them pitch yesterday and the team won, but we can't change the results. So good they've had a couple days off in a row. Hopefully they're fresh, and if you need them here the last two games, they can help you win this series. Offensively, it looked like it was going to be another one of those games. The Mariners loaded the bases in the first inning with one out. Some terrible at-bats, but they came alive, got a run in the second thanks to JP. Jose Caballero with a bomb two-run home run in the fourth. And then they tack on runs in the sixth thanks to Luis Torrens, and the ninth thanks to Eugenio Suarez with a single. Not the best offensive showing they've ever had, but I mean, with the pitching staff doing what it did today, it was enough. And there were some good at-bats, I thought, today. And again, after what this team's kind of been going through this month, I'm not going to complain about it at all. JP on base 4 times today. He was 1 for 2 with an RBI single and 3 walks. So good to have JP back to, after I thought he scuffled a little bit in the Dodgers series. A nice start for him. Obviously on base 4. Tough game for Julio. He was 0 for 4. Teo was 1 for 5. He had a single in that ninth inning. Gino 2 for 3, with 2 walks. So Gino on base 4 times today as well. It didn't really feel like that. I thought Gino swung and missed through a couple hangers today. But at the end of the day, you get on base 4 times, we'll take that. Ty was 0 for 5. We will have a conversation about Ty in the offseason. I do wonder at this point if you just give Mike Ford those at-bats. Like, Ford's got more pop. He's getting on base better. I get that Ty is a better defensive player, and defense matters. I am not an anti-defense person. I'm a huge believer in defense. But, I mean, Ty is just giving you nothing right now. I mean, he had a couple fly balls that were hit somewhat well. He hasn't homered since that home run in Kansas City. I mean, 699 OPS from your first baseman is just awful. I'm not getting on Scott for playing him. I get it. Like, there's not much you can do right now. I get Mike Ford is just not really a first baseman. Your best bet in 2023 is Ty France gets on a little bit of a hot streak and helps get you in the playoffs. I've said it all the time. Like, there's no move this team can make with somebody else, in my opinion, outside of playing Ford more at first, that's going to win you ball games. Now, in the offseason, we will have a discussion, but not the offseason. There's 12 games to go in the regular season. You're fighting for a division title and a playoff spot. But, man, I wouldn't mind seeing Ford at least get a shot and see what happens. Dylan Moore was 1 for 4. He had a really rough at-bat in the first inning where he struck out. Was it in the first inning? Yeah, Demo was with 2 outs. He came up because France popped up, and then Demo came up and struck out. Good to see him have a line drive base hit in his next at-bat. It's been really low-key, but Dylan Moore's just struggles in September have been a huge reason for this team's drop-off. You just haven't had that kind of Dylan Moore typical lefty masher coming through, and they could have really used it this September. Still time. There's still time to do it. Luckily, this team can make up for lost stuff in early September very quickly here. Really missing Tom Murphy. Really surprised they didn't go out and try to get a Randall Grichuk or someone like that was put on waivers just to help against lefties, because it doesn't look like you're going to have Tom Murphy back. And even today, they got it done, but this lineup against lefties, Haggerty, Cobby, Torrens, Moore, it's tough right now. It's tough. You need Dylan Moore to get back to kind of where he was a few weeks ago or a month or so ago when he was scolding hot. Haggerty was 1 for 4. Take it, had a base hit. How about Jose Caballero today? 2 for 4, a 2-run home run that was crushed. I haven't heard of that. Sounded ridiculous off the bat. Like, that sounded like a Teo or Julio home run. And then he had a base hit as well and a stolen base. I thought he had a really nice turn on a double play, a really strong throw. So a nice game from Caballero. Really good to see. Another guy, like, listen, if he can get hot down the stretch here and be a legitimate platoon partner with Josh Rojas, then you've got something. You've got a legitimately good, decent player that can contribute. Luis Torrens 1 for 4 with an RBI. Really nice to have Luis Torrens back. Brian O'Keefe just wasn't going to cut it. He went to the paternity list, and they just kept him in the minors, which makes sense. Torrens gives you a veteran bat that has a track record of hitting left-handed pitching, and they were able to give Cal Raleigh a full day off, which was huge, because he's probably going to catch every game. I mean, maybe he gets one more day. Maybe if you can like sweep Texas or something, you can get Cal one more day off in there somewhere. But for the most part, he's likely going to be catching every game. So to get Cal a day off was really huge. And Trends gives you at least a legitimate option. Nothing like I'm not trying to pick on Brian O'Keefe at all, but just not a Major League Baseball player. Luis Torrens is. Is he the best? No, but he's capable. Listen, the Mariners took care of business tonight. They faced a legitimate MLB pitcher, JP Sears. Listen, he's not, Spencer Strider. He's not Garrett Cole. He's not Kevin Gausman, but he is a legitimate MLB starting pitcher who has given the Mariners fits. They got to him tonight. The pitching did its job. Wu worked around some control command issues. Yeah, if it wasn't Oakland, who cares? It was Oakland. It was Oakland. They got to play Oakland. They get to play him 2 more times. Take advantage of it if you can. Try. Like, Oakland's not good. Let's hope you can get a sweep here. You got to feel pretty good with Castillo and Kirby going the next 2 days. I know Kirby hasn't been great his last few times out, but you still have to be feeling pretty good about it. Take care of it. And hopefully Boston and Baltimore can do some work against Texas and Houston here, and you can really get back in this thing. And I mean, well, they're in this thing, but and then the Yankees can take care of Toronto maybe, and you can get back in a playoff spot here really quickly. Guys, baseball is a lot of ups and downs. It is a long season, even 12 games. There's still 12 games left. Like, is that a lot? No, in baseball sense, it's a drop in the hat. But I mean, think about football. If this was the Seahawks and they were a game and a half out of the division with a tiebreaker, tied for a playoff spot, and then 1 game back of a team they had a tiebreaker with 12 games to go, we'd be like, plenty of time. There is. This team could sweep the A's and be a game and a half up on a playoff spot in a couple days. Maybe they won't. Maybe they won't. Like, not, you never know. But there is still a really good opportunity for this team to get in. It is not over. I know a lot of you kind of were in the comments saying it's done. It's certainly done if they keep playing like they have in the early part of September. But I'm going to choose to believe a team that is 14 games over 500 is going to play better here down the stretch. And just hope they have one more push in them to get there. The good news, too, is, obviously you're not in right now, but you're chasing 3 teams. One of them you're tied with that you just don't have a tiebreaker with. The tiebreaker with Texas, to me, is not really going to matter, though. That's the good thing there because you play them 7 times. It could come into play, but you got to feel like if you can just win 4 out of those 7, you got to feel pretty good that you'll probably be able to pass them. And then you're a game back at Toronto. You win tomorrow. Toronto loses. You're ahead of them. And you're a game and a half back of Houston with the tiebreaker. You got 3 teams. You just got to find a way to pass one of those teams. If the Mariners can go 7-5, 8-4, you got to feel pretty good that they can pass one of those teams. Like, one of them has got to go 4-8 down the stretch. You know what I mean? Like, the odds you would think would favor that. And who knows? Maybe the Mariners are the team that goes 4-8. I don't know. But if you can do that, if you can go 7-5, you got to think one of ththose teams 5-7, 4-8, and you pass one of them to get in. You'd love to pass, Texas and Houston win the division. That would be the ideal situation, but you also just want to find a way to get in and see what happens. And you never know. You never know when you get in. Philly didn't look like a World Series team going the playoffs last year, and they got hot. This pitching staff is good enough. If Castillo, Gilbert, and Kirby, are on their game, they can win you a playoff series. They absolutely can. And the offense has enough power and decent guys to get hot and win a few games. So don't necessarily think that if they get in, they can't make a run. And the AL has been loaded with mid right now, too. I mean, Baltimore looks great, but they might be without Felix Bautista. That's a huge loss. Houston, like I said, I think the Mariners feel like they're scuffling. Houston can't buy a win at home right now. Texas is, they go to Toronto and sweep, and then they've come back and just undone that, and they've lost 4 in a row. And Toronto's been up and down. They're not quite, they just had a series that now they just swept Boston, but before that, they were swept at home. So all these teams are going through it a bit right now. Minnesota is going to win the Central, but they're not exactly a juggernaut. So the notion that this team couldn't do something in the playoffs, I just don't think is true. They just got to find a way to get in. Got to find a way to do it. 12 games left. 12 games left. Today could not have gone any better. Let's hope tomorrow's more of the same. more of the same. Listen, the Mariners can win their games, that they'll get in. Find a way, keep getting W's. Good win tonight. Keep it going tomorrow. And hopefully finish on a good note, and maybe we'll play off baseball. Have a great night, everybody. Like, comment, and do not forget to hit that subscribe button. And I will see you guys all tomorrow night. Peace. Go Mariners.